Will the Night King bring back the dead Starks? Is Cersei going to lose her baby? And what is going on with that Winterfell battle? Here's the breakdown of Game of Thrones teasers. Yes, we're almost there! The final season is coming in a month. At last, on April 14th, we will get to see which of the crazy fan theories are true. And while fans are losing their minds and pulling their hair out for mysterious teasers, each stranger than the last, HBO is brutally trolling everyone. Why is that? Well, turns out things aren't exactly as they seem. Let's come back a little to that pretty major teaser for Season 8, which got everybody super pumped. A brief recap if you forgot. In the teaser, we see Jon, Arya, and Sansa stroll through the Winterfell crypts, only to come face to face with rather ominous statues of themselves. Suddenly, the crypt gets cold and a feather turns to ice. It's all very dramatic and extra, and naturally prompted a bunch of fan theories about Jon being the only surviving Stark, and Bran being the Night King. The thing is, this isn't even a scene from the show. It was shot completely separately and is essentially just a commercial. How are we so sure? All jokes aside, a fan site called Winter is Coming dusted off an interview with Sophie Turner where she said as much. We did this promo for Season 8 where, I don't know if I can say this actually. Well, actually, no. Sophie explained in October of last year while attending New York Comic-Con. It's got nothing to do with the series. It's just a promo. It was this big kind of statue of me, of Sansa, and I wanted to have it in the garden of my new house. But they obviously wouldn't ship it from Belfast to New York, so... No way she was talking about some other statue that's different than this one from the teaser. Well, guess this means all fan theories related to the promo are officially off the table. Sorry, Bran is the Night King truthers. And now, coming to the latest and final 2-minute teaser. It should be taken more as a metaphor, as there are also no actual shots from future episodes. These scenes were taken specifically for the promotion of the series, and that is why it is so tricky. Yet, we can analyze what these metaphors are telling us. 1. Arya and her blood-spattered face. The trailer opens with Arya seemingly hiding in the dark with an anxious look on her blood-spattered face in the crypts of Winterfell. What is she running from? Likely enemy forces, but that would mean the army of the dead breaches the walls of Winterfell at some point during the battle. I know death, Arya says, and yet she is freakishly scared during her run. Maybe it is the Night King himself? We saw how in the first teaser this exact Winterfell crypt turned into ice. If so, what would the Night King be doing there? Ha! We have a theory for you. Do you remember how in the last episode, the Night King turned dead dragon Viserion into his white warrior? So, what is stopping him from touching the bodies of the dead Starks and bringing them back from the grave? Then the poor Starks will have to face their relatives on the other side. Perhaps even the headless Ned Stark and Lyanna, the mother of Jon Snow. In the shot, Arya is holding a blade in front of her, and it's not Needle or the Valyrian steel dagger she acquired in the 7th season. This looks like a new weapon made from dragon glass, a substance known to kill White Walkers, or the Faceless Men have finally come for Arya. Valar Morghulis, as we remember. Debts must be paid, and Arya definitely has some of those.
What are you doing here?
Waiting for you.
2. The bloody Winterfell battle. In this trailer, we see excerpts from the battle for Winterfell. As we know, producers decided to make a whole episode devoted to the battle, as it is a decisive fight between the armies of the dead and alive. According to Entertainment Weekly, the battle episode required 11 weeks of grueling night shoots. It will most probably be the longest battle scene in the history of films and TV shows. When preparing for the shoot, the director, Miguel Sapochnik, tried to find a longer battle sequence in cinema history, but he simply couldn't. The closest was the nearly 40-minute Helm's Deep siege in The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Nicholas! Two already! I'm on 17! I don't know, 20 you're outscoring me!
Although he was not satisfied with it, as there was too much hacking and slashing. He tried to understand when people start to feel battle fatigue, and he came to the conclusion. One thing I found is the less action, the less fighting you can have in a sequence, the better. Well, that is surprising. So then, what exactly will we have during the whole episode of the battle but with minimum fighting in it? This is a hell of a puzzle, don't you think so? It also brings the largest number of GOT major characters together since the show's debut episode in 2011. And as Harrington joked about it previously, you can't have this many actors on set. There are too many egos. Moreover, the actors themselves hate the battle episode too. Why? Imagine 750 people working all night long for nearly 3 months in the middle of open rural countryside. The temperatures are freezing in the low 30s. The actors were choking on smoke from the smoke machine. One crew member went to the hospital due to an asthma attack. One of the actresses, whose name is not disclosed, fainted from overstrain right on the set. And Maisie Williams wanted to break in tears on the set. That's how broken she felt. And what about veterans on the show, such as Ian Glenn, who played Ser Jorah Mormont? It was torture for him. It was the most unpleasant experience I've had on Thrones, Glenn says. A real test, really miserable. You get to sleep at 7 in the morning, and when you wake in the midday, you're still so spent you can't really do anything, and then you're back. You have no life outside it. You have an absolute fucked bunch of actors. Bring your attention to people's faces when you watch this episode, because there will be a lot of real feelings out there. To get periodic warmth, actors occasionally huddle around a space heater in a tent, or duck inside the production's cramped, bare-bones trailers. Sounds like the whole crew became the wildlings for that episode. 3. Cersei and her baby. We all know that wine and Cersei are inseparable, and smart Tyrion knew that as well, as he was the one who exposed Cersei's pregnancy.
You're pregnant.
We remind you that this would be a child from her brother, Jaime Lannister. So the question is, why the heck is she drinking wine again in the last teaser? Has she lost her child, or has she decided to kill her baby?
So please, Your Grace, Lady Sansa is very tired.
Lena Headey is an amazing actress, but in this situation, her acting skills make fans even more confused. It is practically impossible to tell what emotions are raging inside her. Just look at this shot. She is crying and smiling at the same time. And then again, the mysterious Cersei in this scene. Did she come up with a second plan? Cersei is probably looking so smugly happy at the sight of the Golden Company, but she might be overestimating Euron.
Ever since I was a little boy, I wanted to grow up and marry the most beautiful woman in the world.
In a new Entertainment Weekly portrait slideshow, the actor behind Euron, Pilu Asbæk, gave a mysterious hint at what's to come. Euron wants to become the king of the Seven Kingdoms, yet he's also blackmailing Cersei, Asbæk said. Cersei probably shouldn't trust Euron or Captain Harry Strickland without reserve, but does she have a choice? Last we heard, Cersei sent Euron to Essos on a mission. He was going to hire the Golden Company, a legendary arm of mercenaries, to fight on Queen Cersei's behalf. Looks like he was successful, as we see Euron Greyjoy's fleet of ships. And in this shot, we see a new character named Harry Strickland standing in front of his sellsword troops. As we know from George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire novels, Strickland is the general who leads the Golden Company. He'll be played on the show by Mark Grisman. 4. Jon and Daenerys. The main question is still about the forbidden love between Jon and Daenerys. Jon went south as king in the north and returned with a queen at his side, riding towards Winterfell.
We are going to destroy the Night King and his army. We'll do it together.
In the trailer, the plot is echoed in the moment when Dany and Jon visit the Winterfell crypts. In case you forgot, in the pilot, King Robert and Ned Stark had a meaningful conversation in front of Lyanna's crypt.
She was my sister. This is where she belongs.
She belonged with me.
Lyanna is, of course, Jon Snow's birth mother. His father is Rhaegar Targaryen, Dany's long-dead brother.
She is mine. From this day until the end of my days.
So, the crypt is again a great metaphor that represents the truth. If, or probably when, Jon and Dany discover they are in fact relatives, Lyanna's tomb is going to hold a new importance for them both. And then we see them approaching the 2 remaining live dragons. We doubt it's a coincidence that Jon is standing closest to Rhaegal, the dragon named after his father. How do we see the differences between the dragons, you might ask? Pretty simple. Rhaegal is more greenish in color, while Drogon's scales are black and red, according to the book. Fans have long speculated that Jon will ride a dragon at some point on the final episodes of Game of Thrones. His touching moment with Drogon last season only fueled that hypothesis. It would be fitting for Jon to ride the beast named after his birth father, Rhaegar Targaryen. Share your theories about the final season in the comments and dare to answer the question of who you think will die first. Thanks for watching. Check out other videos about Game of Thrones on OSSA channel.